الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I welcome you all to the second webinar presented by the IOU Sindh Region Student Committee on the platform of International Open University. Right? Alhamdulillah, let me introduce you to IOU very briefly, inshallah. IOU was first founded by Dr. Bilal Phillips as the Islamic Online University, initially offering courses like fiqh, aqidah, Arabic, like Islamic studies courses. And over time, mashallah, it has expanded many-fold, and now it's offering certificate, associate, and degree programs in diverse fields like education, business, banking and finance, mashallah, IT, and psychology. All right. So master's and PhD programs are also available, inshallah, very soon, right? The fee structure, it is very affordable, mashallah, compared to other universities. And the timings, of course, are flexible, the hours, because it is completely online. So the degrees are accredited, mashallah, and access to authentic and reliable knowledge, it had never been easier, mashallah. Right? So you can visit our website for more details, inshallah. And my name is Aisha Ali, and I will be hosting today, inshallah, this program. I completed my BMAI's program from IOU in about 2020, and now I'm inshallah in the final stages of completing my PhD program, inshallah. Right, so about our topic for today, let me share a research, an 80-year-long Harvard study. It was headed by Dr. Vishankar, and he concluded after this long-term impact study, right, and that the basis of peace and satisfaction is nothing but social and interpersonal relationships, right? So, and that is in complete, agreement with Islamic teachings. But the problem is that the science is yet to distinguish between halal and haram relationships, right? The truly beneficial and satisfying relationships as compared to harmful and negative relationships, right? So we have with her today our distinguished guest, Dr. Sobia Ikram, mashallah, to shed light on this topic. Let me introduce her briefly, inshallah. Dr. Sobia Ikram, she holds a doctorate degree in clinical psychology and from the University of Management and Technology, Pakistan. She has over 8 years of experience as both a practitioner and an academician. She's registered in Australia as a provisional psychologist and has completed more than 100 training programs, mashallah, with esteemed international organizations, right? In 2024, she joined the International Open University as the head of the psychology department and currently serves here as a senior lecturer as well. So we are delighted to have her here with us, and we look forward to benefiting from her knowledge and expertise with the topic navigating peer pressure and seeking halal marriage in a world of dating culture. So I welcome Dr. Sobia Ikram to please begin.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying your Ramadan, fasting, long hours, and praying Taraweeh, and then going back to your work or uni or college. I mean, it's going to be a busy time. Alhamdulillah, and Jazakallah khair for inviting me, Sister Aisha, for such a humble introduction. So it's gonna be an interesting topic. I think everybody, each one of us, experience that peer pressure, and it's a basic need. So I'll try my best to inculcate scientific aspects as well as the Islamic perspective, rather than just talking about the science only or just the Islamic perspective. So we are going to talk about some those true concerns scientifically, and some few things that affect us emotionally and psychologically. So that's going to be my agenda, and I'm happy to answer the questions. If you have any question, you can just simply write down in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer. All right. Understanding peer pressure, and especially in this world of dating, you know, where everybody, you're gonna go to your college, your uni, and or your even your work, and you see people would be asking you questions, or would be, even if they don't ask you questions, they would be, you know, sharing their experiences like, oh, I'm going for a date, or I came back from a date, or I had a partner, or I'm going to so and so place on a date. You know, this word is pretty common these days. And then after listening this whole things or stories, you come back home, you see your parents are upset. We wish her to get married, or we wish him to get married. Then you obviously, again, it's another pressure, and then you are 24, you are 21 or 30 years of age, and then somebody calls your parents or somebody visits you, especially the month of Ramadan, and everybody be like, oh, have you found any spouse, have you found any partner, or kind of those sympathizing way they question you, and then they look at you, and all these things, and then you should not be uh, ignoring your body's signs and symptoms. Sometimes we try to be, angels, or we try to be someone who don't have any feelings. And then we have our body's needs as well. And then the mental health, feeling of less than people, because everybody, you see your social media, you open your Instagram, you open your Facebook, and you see people, everybody is either getting married or just married and posting those typical pictures of their marriage, happily married, or even with the halal marriage, they would be posting pictures like with two gynamas, you know, sitting together and then praying, oh, life goals or couple goals, things like that. And you feel more alone. You feel alone day after other, and then it pushes you to an extent where you start considering to have at least something than nothing, you know. So we ended up getting into being flexible, and then that flexibility leads to any relationship other than marriage, any romantic relationships, whether you're a boy or you're a girl, it's gonna be the same thing. So, your mental health, your body needs, your relatives, your family, your friends, and the overall environmental pressure, like the society, like the social media, all those triggering pictures. Even if you do an experiment, and if you start, decide one day, like, I'm gonna detox myself with social media, I'm not gonna watch or look at any such picture that talks about couple goals, or that talks about relationships, that talks about, or that shares some visuals. I'm not gonna see that. The moment you decide that, the more content you're gonna see. It's gonna be the, I mean, that's the experience. When I see clients every day, and some clients come to you with addiction, no matter what kind of addiction it is, um, they usually claim that, they usually share their experiences. Look, I decided to quit smoking and so addiction, but the moment I decided, I started seeing, I mean, randomly there were some posts on the social media going through, and it just triggered me, and then I just crashed. So this is where we struggle, and we will try to discuss each aspect, and then how we become vulnerable and how we can protect ourselves. Peer pressure is something that we can't ignore. So let's start with your body. Let's assume you are over 21. You are above the age of 18, at least, minimum the age of 18. And by this age, your body will start having demands. Ideally, you should be getting married. I mean, you're not denying that. If you could find a partner, you would be married till now. But even if you don't, then it should not be, I mean, it is, but it should not be an issue for other people, you know. So, ideally, let's ignore the situation, the ideal situation. Let's see what possible things could that be. 18 years of age or over that, your body starts demanding a partner, you know. Now, when it starts demanding a partner, you need to see your mental health as well. Maybe, with us or with the generation who is 18 or 18 plus, they are the generation, like 70% of that generation had some kind of trauma in their life, some kind of trauma, whether it's parental neglect, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's verbal abuse. It doesn't have to be like really big, because every individual is different. Your personality could be different than your brother's. So in your family, maybe your mother is so loud, and all your siblings are fine with that, because they have accepted that. They are flexible enough to accept the loud noises or yelling or shouting. But your build is different. Your personality type is kind of very humble or very, low tone and very sensitive. Despite trying for 18 years, you struggle to accept that yelling, shouting, or loud voices. That's just an easiest example or the lightest example I could have bring. So that's one example. The other example could be your parents were fighting. Your mom have been a victim of narcissistic in-laws, narcissistic husband, could be anything. So being a victim, she's overwhelmed with her own thoughts. And when a mother is emotionally too, overwhelmed with her thoughts and her struggles, she would definitely, to some extent, would be neglecting her child's need, you know. And when she's gonna neglect, so you see the parental neglect, emotional neglect. Again, I'm not talking about the physical neglect. Usually parents would say, oh, we have given her an iPhone, a car, and a house, everything. We have provided her everything. But still she is not happy. She's not confident. It's because other than car or other than the house or those physical needs, there are emotional needs as well during the growing age. So maybe you have not received that emotional need and you have been a victim of emotional neglect. And then you grew up, you are 18. Now, 18 years of age, bodily needs, and then any kind of trauma, whether it's neglect, ideally it's neglect. Most of the time it's neglect. Sometimes it's bigger than that, physical abuse, sexual abuse. I mean, everybody is aware of every kind of abuse these days. Now, a person is 19 years old, coming from a background of trauma, bigger or a smaller, physical needs, and then communication styles. In, sometimes there are certain things. I mean, I belong to a culture like India Pakistan culture, and I know what are the limitations. So we even, even things that Quran talks about openly, we don't talk about them even with our mothers. We don't talk about emotional experiences. Like a mother would never tell the child or the daughter or a son that, look, you're going to be in that age where you are going to have changes in your body, but apart from these changes, you will start to experience changes in your mental health, your emotional health. You will start getting attracted towards the opposite gender. We don't talk about that. And what happens is it's something that flooded on us abruptly, and we are not prepared for that. So we struggle to find right words to communicate our needs and convey to our family or parents. And then sometimes in some families, parents have unnecessary or unrealistic needs. You should be doing your MBBS and then only you will be allowed to get married. Or you should be doing so and so job, then you will be able to get married. Those unrealistic, like big goals, not just the smaller ones. I mean, it's not bad to have a smaller goals. Okay, you should be start earning, and then later on you will earn in millions, but even at least start working and then start getting to the fight. Now, lack of communication, or struggles of communication, past trauma, bodily needs, right? See how complex we are. And it's just three things I have counted. I'm going to talk about other things as well. And then all those peer pressures, social media, every time it's accessible, even at 12 a.m. at night. You have social media and suddenly you have a notification that your friend just got married and is going for umrah. I mean, I know it's a beautiful thing, you need to praise, and but she's going to umrah with her partner, and you are sitting on your bed all alone, dealing with your anxieties, dealing with all those struggles, and then questioning your beauty standards and your beauty levels as well. Because maybe you believe that you are not beautiful, and there are so many rejections from the proposals, right? So even the halal things that you see becomes sometimes a way that leads you towards doing something difficult. I will be very cautious with my words. So that's happens. It happens. I have seen my clients, they cry. They would cry, and they'll cry to an extent that they'll be like, I see a friend going on Umrah with her partner. I mean, I should be praising her, but I feel like, okay, I'm not, jealous of her happiness, but I feel like, where exactly am I? Am I not beautiful? Because we are trained, or we grew up in an environment where we talk about, her nose is not that good, her face cuts are not so nice, her height is too small. And these are the comments that you get to hear from even your parents, and sometimes they lose confidence in you. And when they lose confidence in you, you're just completely lost. Right, so you are carrying this burden. Now, when a person is weak, every virus can attack, It's a common understanding. When your immunity is low, you can have flu, the easiest option. Similarly, when you are that complex, you are carrying that much burden, you are vulnerable. Your immunity to protect yourself emotionally, religiously, is very low, extremely low.
Mm.
And then you decide to go in the world full of perpetrators, full of all those people who are there to manipulate you, or maybe even they are struggling and they are looking for temporary peace, and then you start getting attracted towards those. There is this common experience I noticed, that people, men or women who experience such trauma, who are overwhelmed, they usually find someone who is toxic. Usually a very nice girl you see you in your friend list would be in relationship with a guy who is absolutely a big red flag. You can see, the world can see, but she can't see. It's not her being naive, or it's not her being an idiot, or her being bad. It's her being traumatized in her childhood, that she can't even you know, differentiate between the right and wrong, the healthy and the unhealthy, because her immunity was low, she was vulnerable, she just catch that virus, I must say. So such relationships are virus because these relationships have no ending. That's one perspective. And the other perspective would be, oh, I'm going to get married to this person. So, but I wanted to know that person. Okay, there are halal ways to know someone as well. So, when you start, looking for a proposal, or even if you like someone in your uni, you don't have to spend a year with them spending, or doing all haram stuff. If you like someone, do an interview, with your with your wali, or with someone who is more mature, more understanding, and then start the process of the proposal, rather than just delaying that. The more you're going to delay, the more conflicts you are going to experience. But remember, each time you get into a relationship, or you feel like slipping into any relationship, or you feel like the need of a relationship, question yourself, is this just my need to have a relationship, or it's just my background conflicts as well? So make a chart, make a graph, or a chart, or a pie chart, and distribute. Okay, your physical needs could be 10%, your background or your past trauma is 20%, your need to feel appreciated or being adored because you have never been appreciated based for your beauty is 10%. Your influence of social media is 20%. And you can divide all these chunks in a good big chart, and then see, are these the things that I'm looking for a partner, or haram relationship? Because the peer pressure, it's easy to say, talk about the peer pressure. Oh, so this person has an influence on me, and I just followed her footsteps. Yes, you did followed her footsteps. She or he will be rewarded or punished for that. But are these just foots? I mean, why can't your brother or someone who don't have any relationship, being in similar environment, is not walking those on those footsteps? Why not? Because maybe their immunity, their background is not that complex. So first of all, if you really want to get into any relationship or understand any relationship, address your issues, make a picture of yourself and how you are made up of, how much or what is the percentage of trauma you experience in your life. Sometimes we don't even understand that that was a trauma. Having Feeling alone, being bullied at school, and coming back home and nobody is there to talk to is a trauma. Mom is always upset because of the in-laws, or because of the husband, or because of her mental health. And you are calling her in your early age for food, and mom is lost. You might not even remember that, but that has a stamp on your brain. That's trauma. So think for a while, recall your experiences. If you have any such experience that you can consider is a trauma and that could have impacted your confidence, question that. Is this something that's why I'm looking for a partner, no matter it's halal or haram? Yeah. Or it's just because everybody around you is so pretty, but everybody talks about you is like, oh, she's not pretty. So you just want to validate that you are pretty, and that's why you just wanted to get into a relationship. So are you feeling empty inside yourself? That's why you're going into relationship. So identify the purpose of a need other than physical. Could be 10%, I agree. We have so many solutions for that. Until you get married, physical aspect can be managed through what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us, through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that okay, if you feel that way, you need to fast. So fasting can help balancing your physical needs. But how about those 90% of the time that the stuff you're going through? A scar, protecting yourself, protecting your eye. So protecting your eyes are important, a really, really important thing. And now, even as a psychologist, and not even as a psychologist, but when I see people every day, I see clients like, and majority of them, when they talk about these halal experiences and their shallow feeling inside them, it raised my question like, wow, I mean, are these the, is this something like we just need, we just don't need to protect ourselves from music, but we also need to protect our eyes from the worldly desires. Worldly desires could be halal as well, but if it's in flux and if you feel like you are starving at the moment, you know, for example, when you are fasting, when everybody is fasting, you know, and someone in the market starts eating something, people will be look at that person with killing eyes, you know. Even it's halal because maybe
Yes.
that person is sick or isn't there, you know, they're having their those specific days. It could, they could be travelers, but they're eating, but you're gonna look as if you're gonna kill them. Or you start feeling, oh, I feel like so thirsty now, just by looking. I mean, they're doing halal thing, they're not eating pork, they're not having any alcohol, it's just the general food that maybe they need to eat because they need to have a medicine, it's their need. But you saw that, kalas, you are gonna struggle. So that's why protect your eyes from something that you are starving for. You know, relationships, if you are starving for that and you feel like so alone, and it's okay to feel that. Now, what happens is we don't accept. If I'm feeling alone, if I'm feeling isolated, and if I feel the dire need to have a partner in my life, I'll start lying to myself first, and then I'll start telling people, "Oh, I don't care. I'm just a, you know, very strong person made of iron or metals. I don't care anybody getting married or so so." But you know that. Start accepting that. So first thing is acceptance. Accept these are my needs. That's what I'm going through. It's okay to feel, to have that starvation. But if you have it, till you get married, at least protect yourself. Just try to, you know, you don't have to block your friends who just got married, but just hide their notifications. I mean, you can just do that. I mean, Facebook or all these social media things, they have this option to hide similar posts. So, what you can do is you can try your level best to hide those posts and start liking those pages that talk about career and that talks about physical health, going to gym, you know, whatever the goals are or whatever. Again, if you are fat and you are having a depression and you can't get up and go out, don't like those pages where everybody's eating healthy. I mean, it sometimes gives you energy to set a goal, but majority of the time it's gonna push you into those darkest time. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, that's, I can't do anything. So it is gonna give you that feeling of uh insufficient, you know. So even if you have to work on your goals, even if you want to lose your weight, compare yourself, compare yourself with your own self rather than with the world. So start making these goals, start, you know, after this session, you could sit down at least for 5 minutes on your computer screens or on your phone, open your notes section, or just if you have a paper and pen, write down your name, make a circle, and then divide those circles into percentages of all these things that we have discussed. Role of everything you have discussed so far. And then start questioning. I mean, 10% of or 20% of the social pressure, if you just cut down that, you will have like good chances of, you know, managing your mental health. So in order to get into any, I mean, even in halal relationship, even into getting married, make sure, are you getting married just because I have seen people, I have seen girls coming to me with after post divorce struggles, and when I asked them why you got married, like on first place, if you knew or if you started noticing red flags from the family and everything, and she was like, because my mom want me to get married. It's not just mom, it's not just mother, it could be that whole circle of your needs and your lack of self confidence that you became flexible. And then communication, you need to learn how can you communicate. Now that's the place where we make mistake as well. For example, in your family, nobody is allowed to talk about personal choices. Fine, you don't have to be a rebellious, you don't have to take stand against those big family norms. But all you can do is you can find a weak point in your family, weak point of contact. Weak point of contact could be your grandmother who likes to listen to you. You can communicate with her. Look, um, I need so and so, or I'm looking for this and this. So you will eventually find someone to talk to and then communicate your things. But just make sure you address your mental health and your confidence so that you can pinpoint those red flags in people. And the peer pressure, all right, it does have an impact, but it can only impact when you are vulnerable. Yes, there are slips. I'm not saying it's 100%. Nothing is 100%. There are slips. Sometimes people are so confident. They are amazing. Their lifestyle is so good. They have no trauma, ideal life. Even they get stuck into the peer pressure. Why? Maybe overconfidence. So when you start believing that, nothing can touch you, you know, nothing, I'm like a stone, no matter how much the water goes through, doesn't matter. It's not going to have any impact on me. Fine. Do you really think that? Again, it is an extreme. Extreme of any type is unhealthy. So these are two ways, that's I mean, that absolutely zero confidence, and that's overconfidence, and the place between that is balance, you know understanding. So only healthy thing is that space. Other than this one or that one is unhealthy. So if you are overconfident, you need to reconsider again, make that graph, see where you can slip. You're overconfident, you're gonna get slipped. Maybe when you are going to draw a circle and when you find like, oh, there is no trauma in my life, I don't have any, but you still have that 10% of physical needs. You still have that age where you need a partner in your life. You're still vulnerable. You can't consider yourself that confident. You are going to get slipped. That's one aspect. Secondly, people who are overconfident or who have ideal life, sometimes they miscalculate their life's decisions. So that kind of people are mostly risk takers. We know research support that risk takers sometimes or most of the time get into crisis. You have seen those big accidents. Usually uh, the expert drivers, those who have, you know, confidence, but not to an extent where they can just drive all the way. Always those pro drivers have big accidents because the less confident driver would be driving into a limited speed zone, but the overconfident, oh, I can just do that, that taking over thing, I can just take over any car or even a truck, and then they ended up destroying their car, getting onto bed for years and years and years. It's because being overconfident. Similarly, if you have nothing, no problem in your life, you have an ideal life, you have an ideal family, they communicate so well, it means again you are vulnerable. Your immunity is low. Your immunity is low. because you might get involved in risk taking behaviors, and risk taking behaviors causes accidents. And we know though accidents when it comes to relationships. So you might have heard people, oh, I was just joining my friends. My mom loves me. She trusts me. We have chat. My parents have already taught me what's right, what's wrong. They have an ideal relationship. I just went with my three or four friends on a party. Khalas, again. So if you went on a party and everybody's gonna ask you questions and you'll be like, it's an adventure. It's gonna be a mixed gathering. It's gonna be fun. There will be people are dancing everywhere and you're doing so and so stuff, whatever. Do you think you are, wearing a shield and you will be protected? No. You are being in a risk taking, that's your risk taking behavior. And never forget Shaitan. He is always working 24/7 for us. Shaitan is working for us and we don't work for us. So he's always ready to find any gap in yourself and then jumps in. Okay. So when Shaitan fails to add, to snatch your confidence, to snatch your religion, to snatch anything, your identity, then Shaitan is the biggest psychologist, I must say. Why? Because he start reading the person. He is very confident, okay. He is very competent, okay. He or she prays 5 times a day, okay. He attend all those Islamic halakas, Islamic sessions. Everything is so ideal. Where can I find weakness? So Shaitan starts studying you. And then Shaitan is going to find, okay, so this person is kind of confident. How about increasing her confidence? So what happens is sometimes you'll feel like high levels of iman. You will be having extremely high levels of iman, like 100 out of 100. You can feel connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, I feel so, such a strong connection. It's okay to join mixed gatherings because my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such an amazing, doesn't matter to me. Remember, it's shaitan and it's just trying to sneak in through that confidence. First, it helps you. So sometimes shaitan helps you so that shaitan can gain their goals. And it happens, when we talk about business, sometimes we buy a few stuff that's in loss because we know that it's gonna get increase, it's gonna give you a profit eventually. So you buy something and then when you sell that on profit. So what shaitan do is shaitan helps you to achieve your spiritual goals sometimes, because achieving those goals will, based on your nature, will lead towards overconfidence. And when you are overconfident, you are flexible towards some risk taking behaviors. And then, yep, Shaitan will be welcoming you. So, this happens in the peer pressure. So, never underestimate the power of peer pressure or your bodily concerns. So, question each of your thought before doing anything. That's why being mindful is a core thing to do in your life. Always being mindful, whatever you're doing, even if you are praying. Are you praying and do you feel like confident? Oh, I'm praying 5 times a day and I'm just so blessed. Yes, you are blessed, but you are more vulnerable because Shaitan is more, finding some gaps in you, is more particular about you. So you need to be more cautious. Um, and then, the world is normalizing haram things, making haram easier. So start taking stand when it comes to, sometimes we have our own goals. Like you want to go on Umrah with your partner and your partner is not earning well. So you're like, you know, sometimes we don't find someone who looks as nice as we expect or we dream of having an having a good looking person, whether it's a male or a female, if that person is going to protect your iman, it's all right, as long as this person do not have any haram habit or any red flag, is not narcissist. Just accept that proposal rather than just looking for those extremely hypothetical or I mean extremely fairy tale life. So just try to be realistic, and when your goal is akhirah, then your standards of choosing people would be different. If your goal is to earn jannah for the price of beauty, you will accept someone who is less beautiful, because you can see this person prays 5 times, this person have some rules, and this person have some values in their life. Good to go. And if you want someone who could just give you a Lamborghini, okay, but everything has a cost. Everything has a cost, whether it's dunya or akhirah. Even if you want someone with a Ferrari or an Audi or any big car, remember it will have a cost. It might have a cost of your emotional, emotions. You might have to pay a cost after marriage of your emotions, your self-respect, your mental health. Could everything could be fine, but maybe your akhirah, with regards to maybe someone who has a BMW and really likes you might not accept your hijab. You might have to pay the price for that. I mean, you can just remove your hijab, fine, but what are you gonna get? Akhirah. You're gonna lose that, you know. So you have to write down when you are choosing someone, even your friend, even when you make. So sit down, write down your names of your friends and see what are my goals, what am I achieving from these friends. Am I achieving akhirah? Am I just feeling you know l- low low or lacking in confidence because she's far much better, he or she is far much better than me? You need to reconsider, who do you see a lot. I mean, you don't have to be like breaking up with your just your same sex friends, but you still have to reconsider your company, and company has an impact. It does have an impact. So yeah, that's few things. And yeah, well, we are left with I think 13 minutes, and I think I will be closing it here. But uh, yeah, but maybe in future we can organize something where we can specifically address each and every issue. For example, traumas, and then we can talk about the peer pressure, only peer pressure, and why it happens and what can we do. So maybe we can extend that, inshallah. So far, we can just close that discussion, and I'll open the place or the stage for the question answers, inshallah.
Yeah, the first question that we've received is Jazakallah. It was a very insightful, mashallah, and very kind of thought-provoking session. Um the first question is, what are some red flags to watch out for when seeking a halal marriage, right? Just like
Yeah.
you said that although they are noticing the red flags and then still, uh,
Yeah. So with the social media thing, again, red flags are kind of people try to impose those red flags to us, For example, they are trying to making it
Mhm.
universal. Red flags are never universal. These are customized. For example, you are a person who have never spoken loud. Let's assume, you know, you have never had a chat with someone. I mean, in your family, everybody is so low tone, very, sophisticated, like culturally. I belong to a Punjabi culture, and you know that they're loud, they are very, abrupt. When you talk about
Yeah.
Sindhi culture or the Urdu culture, they are sophisticated.
Mhm.
They are really, sensitive. They're gonna understand. And I mean, depending upon, it's not just fixating with the culture. Again, everything is customized. So you find a family who is loud, and the sasuma is just coming to, oh, you're looking so slim, you know, this comment, if you feel that you are being affected by that comment, it's a red flag. If you feel flexible enough that you have been trained, you have been into school where you have experience with lots of, you know, different cultures, your friends are yelling at you, your teachers are yelling at you, so you're kind of flexible, and then your sasuma would be saying the same way, it doesn't matter to you because you know you can manage that. So it's a green flag for you. So a red
Yeah.
flag for one person could be a green flag for other person. Maybe I like those people who are abrupt, like who just say things on my face, straightforward. For
Yeah.
me, someone who is straightforward is a green flag, but someone who never have been exposed to such situation is a red flag. So you need to consider what is red flag to you. What are the things that you can bear? You can, you know, just sacrifice, or you can just ignore. These are the green flags for you. And remember, before choosing anybody, remember nobody is going to be a perfect person. You have to choose bad, but you have to choose bad to an extent, something that you can accept. So you, for example, you have two options, both are bad. Both are not angels. They are humans. You know, they are human being. Some good and bad qualities in person A, some good and bad qualities in person B. Now you have to choose
Mm.
someone whose bad qualities you can accept. For example, person A smokes and person B yells. So you be like, look, yelling is fine. I mean, I know I can be more loud. I'm confident, but I don't accept smoking because I will be pregnant and then my child is going to suffer. It's, let's assume. I mean, I know it's just the opposite, but I'm just taking that intentionally. So that yelling
Okay.
person would be the green flag for you. So for you, things should be different. Yes, there are certain things that are unacceptable at any cost. These are some mental health. Someone who is an abuser, someone who is a criminal, someone who have no sense of their religion or their values, someone who has been into, you know, who has a reputation of being toxic, that's something else. That's something else. I mean, those obvious reasons, these obvious things are not red, these are not flags, these are just those clear cut nose, you know. Red flags are something that's are quite hidden and you have to
Yeah.
identify when you're starting knowing to people. I hope that makes sense. I know what you were expecting me to give you pinpoint this, but it's never
Yeah.
gonna be this. Right.
Right.
Anything else?
Okay, then this how can a divorced Muslim, especially a woman, navigate the emotional and mental pressures post-divorce while dealing with societal expectations and immediate talks of remarriage?
Again, make that, you know, write down your name, make that pie chart, divide everything, see how, what are the things important to you. And you need a proper counseling. It's not going to be an answer to a question, it's going to be a whole series of sessions for this question. So
Yeah.
see a counselor. They can, even for once or twice or three times, but they can help you. They can facilitate you in sorting out everything. There is no hard and fast, like, I can't give you tips, but I mean, these tips are the general ones, but you need more than that.
All right. So, do we have some counseling links or some place where we could get those,
Yeah, so we do
to?
have
Yeah.
IOU's platforms. Through IOU's platform, we have Solace, and we're all a psychology department. We have some amazing counselors. We are working with our clients, and you can simply
Okay.
join through that, and you can
So,
seek help from there.
okay. So, is it like charged? I mean, how
Yes,
does it?
yes. It's gonna
Okay.
be a paid platform. It's not a free of cost thing, but
Mm-hmm.
you can find nearby places. Like for example, if you are living in a in a major city of Pakistan, then there are so many government hospitals, and in each government hospital there is a
Yeah,
psychiatrist.
then it just happens like there are so many options and you're just lost where to go, what to do. And then especially
Again,
those if you go to a psychiatrist or something, they are always eager to just bring you on medicines
need
or
to see a counselor or
everything.
a psychologist, right? And one thing is important. Again, one good psychologist is not a good psychologist for one person and is an ideal
Yeah,
psychologist for another. So you have to see and make sure, are you able to
you're
connect
doing
with that?
things.
So first
Yeah,
session is gonna be, you know, just touch and go, or maybe, just yes or no, but you have to give it a go.
yeah,
You have to give it a go. And it's not necessarily that someone you have seen has, I mean, you don't like. It's something that it's that person doesn't align with your personality. Because there is
exactly.
someone you're going to seek help from, should be someone who you can trust and you can connect with, you know? So,
Exactly.
yes, again, explore your
Mhm.
options.
Exactly. Okay, the next question. How can I resist peer pressure to date while seeking a halal marriage? Especially when dating is seen as normal in our society. And like you said, we should stay away from such people, from such posts, from such. But it's kind of all over. I mean, wherever you, even if you're just going outside to a park or something, you see things like that. I don't know. It seems impossible to, or maybe you'll not go anywhere because wherever you go, like they're not showing off. It's just that
Yeah.
you just get that feeling from seeing them.
Yeah.
Could you
So
just be
look,
cut off from everything?
yeah, look, you don't need to cutting off from the world. Again, I said like you can just hide those posts from the Facebook. You have one option. We go out, you see people. What you can do is you can, again, you don't have to just put yourself on a starvation mode. Replace few things like healthy activities. For example, when you're gonna
Yeah,
go, leave your home with a goal. I am going to, do this and this good deed. And just in case, there should be a backup plan. Just in case I find a couple who is just, so touchy, and then they are sitting and they're living their life. What if I just have a look on them and, come across them, and what would I do? So make your backup plan. What am I gonna do? Maybe I can start reciting something like those ayats, or maybe start
yeah,
praying. Dua is the best thing you can do ever in your life. When you make dua with yaqeen, you be like, dang. And especially when you are starving, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listens to someone who is so in anxiety. So when you're gonna see those people, just make dua with that pain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please give me a relationship. Please give me a partner where I can feel peace. That's the right time to
okay.
pray. I mean, that's gonna be an ideal time. Initially, try to
Yeah,
avoid. That's one thing. But the other thing is, obviously, you can't put yourself in a locker. You can put yourself
yeah.
in a cage and you don't have to see anything.
And
Go out.
yeah, and
If you
then for
come
a
across,
long term, yeah, I'm
great.
sorry.
That's all right.
For a long term, we can also play a plan for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have other plans for us, like and engage ourselves in some other more
Career.
beneficial kind of
Yeah. Yep.
activities. So
Career,
overwhelmed
physical
yourself that you
health.
don't get
Yep, yep, that
time.
makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, mashallah. Okay, another question. In the Pakistani community, there's a strong emphasis on arranged marriages. But I want to find a spouse in a halal way while maintaining my independence. How can I navigate this and gain my family's support?
Well,
So I think yeah.
yeah, it's a very good question. I have a client who had this concern, and we kept on struggling for a few sessions, and we ended up deciding, look, it's okay. You just want love marriage, right? What is the definition of love marriage to you? Love marriage, according to my definition, love marriage means that a person whom I know, whose habits are acceptable for me, or a person who is emotionally intelligent, let's suppose. So define your wish, you know, and again, explore that wish. Like, why do you want to get married and why do you want to have a love marriage? Could be your parents had arranged marriage, they don't know any each other at all. Again, the trauma is there. Your fear of unknown, oh, unknown person gonna be in my life, what will happen to me? That will be a crisis. So maybe I'm looking for an, again, emotionally intelligent person. And what if with arranged marriage it will be a chaos, right? Now, if you know, just open up, if you just operate that need of love marriage, you come up with three experiences, three different things going on. Again, the complex situation. Now, address each one of them. Look, if you want an emotionally intelligent person, maybe your family has, so just be open, just be flexible enough to consider your family might ask you to have a chat with this person or to look at this person. And when you're going to see, and in the social media world, you have their name, you can just explore them on the social media, you can have an idea of their personality, and you can decide and you can say yes or no. Ultimately you have to say kabul hai, you know, it's not anybody else. You have to say, unless, that's one situation. The other situation is maybe you like someone. Maybe you're in relationship with someone. That's another story. It's not then you want to be to have a love marriage and you don't want to have a arranged marriage. But the whole story is
Mhm.
different. No, you like someone. When you like someone, again, explore. Do I like this person for just because I have past traumas? And is it a trauma bond? If that's the case, then eventually you both are going to be toxic for each other. So that's a red flag. So who is
Right.
the person you like? Explore that. So discuss with your counselor, sit down with them, have a chat, have an open chat. Just be open to experience. If you want a love marriage, let your family know, okay, find a guy, but I would like to have a chat first. But if you're looking for something like, I want to have, I want to date first and then get married, that's another question. See, the one thing,
Mm.
one question has so many aspects.
And
Can't
then
be
we should,
addressed.
istikhara, and we should trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. While we are praying, we are,
That's obviously that's an obvious thing. But yeah, you
because
can
of
ask
love,
family.
I think, should that
Mhm.
come later or should it be there from before? You know?
Yeah, yeah. So again, dua is the ultimate resort. You are going to make dua in every step, each and every step. That's one thing. But you have to,
Right.
you know, just don't mix everything and see things as a whole. Everything, even a
Yeah.
whole big picture is made of a part, made of so many pieces, like parts, chunks. Chunk down
Yeah.
everything, make chunks, divide everything, rule out every possibility, and then see. That's called logical or rational thinking.
Right. MashaAllah. Okay, this brother Tishan, he asked, so what of two people who are in relationship for sometimes 5 years or even more? And whenever you advise them to get married, they will tell you we're not ready yet. What causes this? I
A
mean,
lot
being
of
in
things.
relationship 5 years.
5 years. Shaitan has made their amal beautiful. You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
their action beautiful. That's one. Shaitan has put glasses on on them. They can see things in a different perspective. That's one thing. And the other thing is why you guys are not ready. It means they both are just a trauma bond, maybe. They both are fulfilling needs of each other. It's a
I
kind
think
of
one wants
relationship with
it,
needs,
and
but not the
one
relation.
wants it, the other person says that we are not ready yet, right?
Yeah. That's
Mm,
something.
okay.
Again, it could be a red flag. Again, you see them in relationship, but maybe in reality they are in a give and take relationship. For example, you
Yeah.
are going to a market, you are buying something, you are in relationship with that salesperson. It's a relationship of customer and the seller, you know? So could be. We never know. We never know. We don't know when we see people what's going on in them. It's them
And
to
then,
decide.
yeah, and then of course, what we learn from this is that right at the initial phase, we should avoid such things like
Exactly.
we are going in a relationship for 5 years, and then you realize that, oh, it's not possible or something like that,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our religion is so, it's so it covers everything. It is so good for us
Yep.
to avoid any, mashallah. Okay, another question. Are there any reliable Islamic platforms or community events where I can meet potential spouses in a halal way without having to fall into dating culture?
I'm not sure. I mean, you might be aware of your community. I mean, here in Australia, I have seen that even masjid, they organize such events where you can have an interview. Uh, the people are there, and even their wali, their guardians are there, and you get some time to interact. But it's because here it's like Muslim community is not that much, so there are certain events. If there is not, you can arrange one. You can be you can take a lead, and but again, it depends. It depends upon your culture. I'm not sure where you live or your nearby place if they have anything like that. But if we talk about international platforms, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people talk about those dating apps. That's just ridiculous. That's not the real halal thing, unless it's your parents
Um,
communicating with the other person. If it's even then, it's not reliable. I would never trust
no, there
that.
are
So
there are matrimonial sites, kind of things,
yeah,
right? So
which is
are they also not
sometimes just a lie. I mean, people lie about things
really? Oh, okay. Maybe
sometimes, and
that's why there
sometimes,
are things that are
yeah.
reliable.
I mean, I have seen people,
Yeah.
I have found few, I got few clients and they did mention that, we found this guy from this so and so dating app, and then they are in relationship and there is no concept of marriage. So what's the point? Again, it's a dating.
Mm,
So they are, it's a trick to, it's a trick to implement or introduce dating
yeah.
in a
And
community of
in a rat race.
practicing Muslims.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, subhanallah. So, any other questions? Do we have? Okay, I think that's it. Question. Right. Okay. So,
Sasha,
I think we should. Yeah.
I have one question. There's a sister
Yeah, sure.
for, yeah, there's a new Muslim sister who was asking that, can you tell us how a new Muslim who accepts Islam, and
Mhm.
she doesn't have a family who's Muslim, where can she get married through, and how can she, get married if there are any uh, right dating apps that are considered halal. So where can she go to get married?
Right.
She asked us this. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a very good question, and Jazakallah khair for asking, and very thoughtful question. Remember, when you have converted to Islam, it means that you have left a lot, you have sacrificed a lot, you are in a vulnerable position. And when you're gonna write that down, I'm a converted Muslim, I'm looking for a partner on your or any dating app. Imagine about the perpetrators. Remember, first thing should be never trust anybody. Never ever. Yes, ideal situation could be. I mean, people can start asking, "Oh, you are just converted to Islam." They'll start praising you, and Shaitan is gonna find way because Shaitan is already angry at you. You know, Shaitan is
Excuse me, Dr.
in
Sobia.
a war with you. So with
You're
that,
with you.
oh, sorry,
You're with you.
think. Okay.
I'm sorry
So
to interrupt.
Shaitan is in a war with you already. Shaitan has declared a war against you because you have already completed one milestone. So he's gonna put lots of things. So just make sure I am vulnerable from this and this aspect. So I need to make sure that I don't show these areas of my life to someone. Rather than going for dating apps, if you have converted to Islam, there should be some reputable imams, masajids are there, some organizations are there. For example, let's say if we talk about Pakistan, I think one of the organization is Al Huda International, you know. So they have this portal, or they support such people who are into a relationship. They offer kind of, proposals and finding a partner for you, some kind of similar that stuff. So you got to be calling them. You need to find such a certain organization and let them know, look, I'm here all alone. I just sacrificed this and this, but I'm looking for a partner. So they are going to be your wali rather than just you decide on yourself. Because you can, I'm not saying, you have no right to decide. You can decide, but only when you have that immunity to decide. At this stage, you are you require support. You are weak at this stage emotionally and can be manipulated. When we are weak, we just go out and buy some unnecessary stuff, and this is a matter of relationship. So what do you think we can take a sane decision? So make sure emotionally you are well protected and guarded. Physically you are guarded. With all these aspects, if you think that you can find someone, then you can explore. But again, these dating apps, it's just a beautiful trap. It's a beautiful trap to get into dating.
Exactly. Right. So local community or those who helped you get into Islam, right? Maybe
Exactly.
they
There are
can.
a lot of people, a lot of people. The local community, find out your nearby masjid, find out a place where you accepted Islam. There should be a community there. Find out some those strong families who support such people. Ask them, look, that's where I'm standing, that's where I'm struggling, so I need support. They'll definitely do that. People will do that, inshallah.
And then, any last advice, anything before we close, inshallah? Final
Just
words.
be mindful about the tricks of shaitan.
Yeah,
Be mindful
exactly.
about them. Don't be overconfident or less confident.
Inshallah. Exactly.
Balance.
And yeah, right. And of course, du'as, be protectful, the azkar for the night and everything,
Inshallah.
Istikhara and dua. There's another Quranic dua from Prophet Musa's dua, right? When he was expelled and then he asked for رب إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير
Min
فقير.
khairin faqir. It's a beautiful dua, and look what he got. Look what he got.
Yeah,
He got
he
economically,
got, yeah,
financial stability, partner,
inshallah,
a father,
place to stay.
relationship.
Mashallah,
Yeah. And yeah,
exactly.
there are lots of
Aqeedah,
dua.
just believe. Yeah, the dua with strong belief that Allah subhanahu
Yeah.
wa ta'ala, He will listen to you.
Inshallah. And there's another dua, Rabbi la tazarni fardan wa anta khairul warisin. You can just keep on praying whether you need a baby or whether you need to have a family. Keep praying that
Exactly.
dua. Always make dua. Whenever you are in pain, it's a right time to make dua. Remember that.
Huh, exactly. Right. Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Jazakallah khairan, Sister Sobia, mashallah. It was like very and thought-provoking, and it was very kind of making us assess our own, our personality, our conditions, and alhamdulillah, I hope it's beneficial for the audience too. And may Allah reward you abundantly for it all and all your efforts and mashallah, whatever you're doing to help the people. Right? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I think